T3 a.m. Moscow, Russia. A high-ranking Rosgvardia officer stands near the Kremlin looking out over the glittering lights of the Russian capital. He feels a sense of cold satisfaction. Just 48 hours ago, Russia shattered the Geneva peace talks and unleashed a barrage of 425 missiles and Shahed drones, plunging millions of Ukrainians into a total blackout at 4 degrees below zero. He believes Moscow is an impenetrable fortress shielded by a ring of S-400 and S-500 batteries that can intercept anything from a Cessna to a hypersonic missile. He is completely oblivious to the fact that a 330-pound UJ-26 Beaver drone is currently screaming toward the central power grid at 124 miles per hour, flying just 130 feet above the pavement. In exactly 94 seconds, the heart of Russian energy will stop beating. Putin thought Moscow was a sanctuary, but Ukraine is about to turn it into a lights-out party in the dead of winter. Following the brutal Russian strikes on Ukraine's civilian infrastructure, the US and NATO have accelerated the delivery of advanced AI-integrated drone systems. The Kremlin remains arrogant, counting on its allies in Tehran and Beijing, but Kyiv has decided to prove that nowhere is safe. On the tactical map, the Russian defense is a dense forest of red threats. The S-400 Gravestone radar is sweeping the horizon, while the S-500 is standing by to kill anything in the upper atmosphere. It looks like a solid wall of fire. But Ukraine has already initiated a massive cyber attack to flood Russian sensors with fake signals. While the Russian operators are chasing ghosts in the stratosphere, the real UJ-26 swarm is navigating the concrete canyons of the Moscow outskirts. Moscow, the city that never sleeps, is about to be forced into a very long, very cold winter nap. The Beaver is at the gates, the clock is at 94 seconds, and the black hole of Moscow is about to become a reality. 1:15 a.m., 300 miles from the Kremlin. The UJ-26 Beaver swarm, led by the Morok mothership, is currently navigating the pitch-black forests of the Russo-Belarusian border. To stay beneath the massive Nebo-M early warning radar, the drones are maintaining a terrifyingly low altitude of just 65 feet. At this height, the carbon fiber wings are practically brushing the treetops. The Ukrainian operators, monitoring the mission from a reinforced bunker, are fighting the first of many obstacles, a brutal 50-mile-per-hour winter blizzard. The intense wind shear creates a massive problem, pushing the swarm 2 miles off its pre-programmed flight path and threatening to slam the lightweight drones into the frozen terrain. Every second is a battle for stability. It appears as though the mission will be buried in the snow before it even reaches the Moscow outskirts. But this is where the AI-driven autonomous flight suite takes over. The Morok mothership's onboard computer analyzes the drift and real-time wind data, instantly recalculating the heading for the entire swarm. They aren't just drones anymore, they are a synchronized hive, banking in unison to crab into the wind and maintain their heading. Despite the stealth profile, the Russian frontier defense is on high alert. A localized radar station picks up a brief, anomalous flicker, and the Russian commanders react with immediate suspicion. They vector a Spetsnaz rapid response team to the area. Through the mothership's thermal camera, the Ukrainian operators see the heat signatures of Russian GAZ Tiger vehicles racing along a forest road. Suddenly, 2 streaks of fire erupt from the tree line. Manpads launches. 2 Ukrainian reconnaissance drones, acting as the forward screen, are vaporized in mid-air by the 3.7-mile range missiles. The Ukrainian operator's heart rate spikes. Instead of retreating, he uses the Morok's high-fidelity thermal imaging to see the Russian patrol's heat blooms through the snow. He guides the swarm through a deep river valley, using the jagged terrain to stay out of the Spetsnaz's line of sight. The situation escalates when an Mi-28 Havoc attack helicopter patrolling the border passes less than 500 feet above the swarm. The vibration from the Havoc's rotors is so intense it rattles the Beaver drone's sensors. The AI executes an active camouflage maneuver, dipping the drones into a dense pocket of fog and freezing the electric motor output to minimize thermal signatures. The Havoc passes by, its pilot completely blind to the ghosts beneath him. To cover their final breach into the Moscow interior, the Ukrainian Cyber Corps unleashes a flood of ghost signals onto the regional radar network, creating dozens of fake targets 50 miles to the north. While the Russian giant is busy swinging at shadows, the smart mouse has already dug its hole. The border is breached, and the central grid is now less than 200 miles away. 2:15 a.m. 124 miles from Moscow. The electronic silence is shattered as the S-400's 9-2 N6E gravestone radar pulses with lethal intent. The Russian operators, now fully alert, achieve a hard lock and launch two 48 N6DM missiles. These Mach 6 interceptors scream into the night, designed to vaporize anything in their path. For a second, it looks like the Morocco mothership is a dead man walking. But the mothership's AI initiates a high-speed frequency-hopping sequence, jumping across the spectrum like a ghost in the machine. Simultaneously, a pre-programmed cyber decoy triggers a massive echo storm on the Russian displays. The Mach 6 missiles chase a phantom signal, detonating harmlessly in the clouds 3 miles away. To the Russian commanders, the S-400 is their mafia boss of air defense, but they just realized they are trying to punch an ant colony with a sledgehammer. The battle moves to the ground as the swarm enters the suburban belt. Pantsir S-1 units roar into position, and elite Wimpel guards deploy Gatling-style anti-aircraft guns, spitting 6,000 rounds per minute into the sky. One Ukrainian FPV drone is caught in the crossfire, exploding in a shower of sparks and black smoke. The Russians are fighting with professional ferocity, their handheld jammers creating localized dead zones. Ukraine responds by releasing the remaining FPV swarm early, performing a multi-vector flank that forces the defenders to split their fire. The situation nearly turns fatal when Russian patrol boats on the Moskva River illuminate the mothership with high-intensity searchlights, their heavy machine guns raking the water's surface. The Ukrainian operator doesn't flinch. He sends 2 Beaver drones on a low-level distraction run while the Morocco mothership climbs to 130 feet, using the skyline of Moscow's high-rises to mask its silhouette. The ant colony is now swarming through the streets, and the billion-dollar S-400 is left staring at a screen full of digital lies. The grid is now in visual range. 2:45 a.m. The inner defense ring of Moscow. The S-500 Prometheus, Russia's multi-billion-dollar superhero of air defense, finally joins the fight. Designed to kill satellites and hypersonic gliders, its massive sensors are now focused on the low-altitude horizon. But there is a fatal glitch in the Russian machine. Ukraine, utilizing high-end selective jamming techniques provided by Western partners, has successfully flooded the S-500's frequency bands. The system's CPU, designed to track 36 high-speed targets, is currently choking on a digital brain freeze as it tries to process hundreds of ghost signals generated by Ukrainian cyber units. The Russian response is one of desperate brute force. The S-500 enters full combat mode, launching 77 NA-6 hypersonic interceptors, the most expensive bullets on the planet. In 3 blinding flashes of kinetic energy, 3 UJ-26 Beaver drones are vaporized. The Russian radar operators scream, "Targets neutralized! The grid is safe!" They believe their technological superiority has finally ended the threat. But this is the moment the Ukrainian drones switch to an even deeper level of ghost mode. As the thick Moscow fog rolls in, the drones abandon GPS navigation, which the Russians have jammed into oblivion. Instead, they switch to passive infrared terrain matching. They aren't looking for satellites anymore, they are feeling the heat signatures of the city's skyscrapers. Simultaneously, the swarm splits into decentralized subgroups, each hopping across 1,000 frequencies per second to bypass Russian handheld jammers. The tactical irony is beautiful. The S-500 is a masterpiece of engineering, but it has been turned into a super idiot by a swarm of $50,000 drones. While the Russian interceptors are screaming into the upper atmosphere to hunt phantoms, the real Ukrainian strike package is weaving through the 40-story office buildings of central Moscow. Under manual override, the operators use the massive concrete structures as 400-foot physical shields, rendering the Russian SAM batteries completely useless. The heart of the Russian grid is now just 6 miles away. 2:50 a.m., the heart of the capital. The mission hits a devastating causal loop. The Beaver drones successfully initiate a massive cyber echo storm, creating 1,000 fake blips that paralyze Russian command. However, this electronic chaos creates back interference, causing the Ukrainian operators' own video feeds to flicker and tear. Moscow is blind, but the Ukrainian team is now flying through a digital fog of their own making. The Russian High Command responds with an act of desperation. From Zhukovsky Air Base, a MiG-31 Foxhound screams into the Moscow sky at Mach 2.8. It is an elephant hunting a mosquito. The pilot launches a long-range R-37 missile which vaporizes 2 FPV drones in a blinding flash of kinetic energy. Simultaneously, a VKS Buk M3 mobile battery floods the streets with a jamming field so intense it threatens to sever the swarm's hive link. It looks like the Grandmaster of Russian air defense has finally pinned the Ukrainian mouse. But Ukraine reveals its AI cheat code, a quantum-inspired evasion algorithm that predicts the jamming patterns of the Buk M3 before they even hit. As the radio link begins to die, the Morok mothership's AI takes over, auto-ejecting the final FPV strike package into a pre-calculated fire lane. The situation turns into a street-level brawl. On the Moskva River Bridge, a Spetsnaz team fires a pneumatic net gun, successfully snagging one FPV drone. In response, the Ukrainian operator sacrifices 3 Beaver drones in a kamikaze dive onto a nearby Pantsir S-1, creating a massive distraction of smoke and twisted metal. The final threat emerges from the ground as a Rosgvardia unit fires a Kornet anti-tank missile, which misses the Morok mothership by less than 10 feet. In the Kyiv bunker, the operator is drenched in sweat, his hands shaking as he switches to pure manual FPV mode. He ignores the signal loss warnings, threading the drone through the jagged rooftops of the Moscow suburbs. The Russian troops are screaming, "Drones are everywhere!" But for the Ukrainian team, the board is set. The $100 million grid is no longer a coordinate, it is a physical reality filling the camera lens. The final 10 seconds have begun. 2:55 a.m. The final 10 seconds. The central grid hub, a labyrinth of cooling fins, massive transformers, and high-voltage bus bars, fills the FP5 camera's thermal feed. This is the kill zone. The Russian defense is in a state of terminal paralysis. On the ground, Pantsir S-1 operators are frantically slewing their turrets, but the electronic echo storm has created dozens of ghost targets on their displays. They are firing at shadows while the real threat is moving at 186 miles per hour just above the rooftops. Inside the Ukrainian bunker, the operator's world has shrunk to a 3-inch flickering screen. The Russian Buk M3 jamming is so intense that the video feed is 70% static, a grainy mosaic of gray and white. At 3 a.m., the primary FPV strike drone slams into the central transformer bank at 270 feet per second. This isn't just a crash, it's a high-energy kinetic surgical strike. The 44-pound high-explosive warhead detonates upon contact, releasing over 500,000 joules of dynamic energy. The primary blast generates a 50 psi shockwave that instantly shatters the transformer's steel casing, igniting thousands of gallons of specialized mineral oil used for cooling. The physics of the destruction are relentless. The initial explosion creates a plasma arc that vaporizes the high-voltage bus bars, triggering a massive electrical surge that travels back through the lines. It is a chain reaction of failure. Transformers across the hub begin to detonate like a row of giant $10 million firecrackers. The 50 psi pressure wave treats the grid's structural integrity like a suggestion, shearing heavy copper cables and sending molten metal spraying across a 1-mile radius. In less than 3 seconds, the $100 million heart of Moscow's energy is converted into a mountain of slag and fire. The strategic fallout is instantaneous. For the first time in nearly a century, central Moscow experiences a total unrecoverable blackout. 2 million people are plunged into the -4°F winter night. From the Kremlin's windows, the city that never sleeps disappears into a terrifying black void. It isn't just the lights. The cyber attack has crippled the emergency backup systems and paralyzed the capital's digital infrastructure. Panic erupts in the streets as subway trains stall in tunnels and traffic management systems go dark. The lesson for Putin is as cold as the Siberian wind. You can hide behind your S-500 superheroes and your Mach 2 interceptors, but you cannot defend a city against an opponent who has mastered the art of smart warfare. In the age of AI and cheap composites, the little guy doesn't just fight back, he wins. Moscow is dark, and the world just learned that in 2026, no wall is high enough to keep out the ghosts. Bye for now.